Hello Niger football lovers and to everyone watching me right now. Trust you all had a good weekend as I welcome you to another exciting edition of the Player Roundup Show with me, Emmanuel Sebastian, on Niger Footballers TV. Well, a lot of Nigerian footballers were in action this past weekend for their respective club side as usual, but we begin in Africa. Like they say, charity begins at home. So we start right here in Africa. But before we begin, guys, do you know there's a Nigerian international who currently plays in England, whose father was the former vice chairman of Nigerian Professional Football League side, Lobby Stars? Well, you want to stick around to the end of the show as I'll be revealing to you who this player is. So guys, let's begin the roundup proper, and it was the Soweto derby out there in South Africa, and Daniel Akpeyi was in goal for his club side, Kaizer Chiefs, against their fierce rivals, Orlando Pirates, out there at the Moses Mabhida Stadium in South Africa. It was a 1-1 game after 90 minutes. It was a Telkom quarter-final game against their fierce rival, which ended 1-1 in 90 minutes, but the game went to extra time and both teams cancelled each other out again. They scored 1 goal apiece in the extra time and it ended 2-2 after 120 minutes, and the game eventually going all the way to the sports kick. And Akpeyi, was a happy ending for Daniel Akpeyi, who gave another heroic performance in the penalty shootout, saving 2 sports kicks on the day, thereby booking their place, Kaizer Chiefs, in the last 4 in the competition. Guys, from one derby we move on to another, and this time we are heading all the way to Turin in Italy, where one man was involved in a derby game. I'm talking about the Turin derby, and it was Ola Aina, who was in action for Torino up against the Serie A defending champions Juventus. It was a 1-0 game. They lost that game at home, but I know who was yellow carded in that game, played the full 90 minutes, started the game as a wing back, but they eventually lost that game courtesy of a solitary goal from Matthias de Ligt, eventually giving Juventus a 1-0 lead away from home. Now from Ola Aina, we'll travel all the way to Serbia, and one man continued his fine form. I'm talking about Umar Sadiq, who was in fine form for his club side FK Partizan. It was a game they won 4-0. And Umar Sadiq was credited with 2 assists and a goal in that game. You know, the Kaduna-born forward takes his tally to 6 goals for the season. And talking about Umar Sadiq, this was a player who didn't have the final step spell when he was in Rangers. It was a dire spell for him. But great to see Umar Sadiq picking himself up out there in Serbia. And I'm sure his parents' club, AS Roma, will be keeping a close watch on him. Now from Umar Sadiq, we'll move all the way to Sweden, where one man is in form for his team. I'm talking about Al Hassan Yusuf, who was in fine form for his side. I'm talking about FK Göteborg. They played against Östersund out there in Sweden, and it was a game they won 7-1. It was a late show from Al Hassan, who scored his side 6th and 7th goal in that game. You know, it was a late show, and he eventually got into the party as they head the game towards the 90-minute mark. So good one for Al Hassan. And from Al Hassan, the next player we'll be moving on to, still with the Scandinavian country as well, is in Norway, and is Leke James, who was also on the score sheet for his club side, Molde FK. They were up against Kristiansund out there in the Norwegian league, and Leke James got the 2nd goal for his team. They won that game by 2-0. So fantastic one for Leke James as well. Now from Scandinavia, we're still in Europe actually, but let's move to Turkey to talk about one man as well who played for his club side Antalyaspor in the Turkish Super League, and it's Paul Omar Mukaru actually. So he was on the score sheet for his club side Antalyaspor. They trailed 2-0 in that game, but he pulled one back for his team, but eventually it wasn't enough as his team went on to eventually lose that game. But some positive for this man, Paul Omar Mukaru, who continues to get rave reviews from opposition managers and as well from former African Footballer of the Year, guess who, Emmanuel Adebayo, who also plies his trade out there in the Turkish Super League. Now guys, from Turkey, let's move to the Middle East, and I'm talking about Saudi Arabia, where Ahmed Musa finally, came back from injury after over 2 months layoff. So it was a relief to his club side and as well to the Super Eagles to see Ahmed Musa, coming back from injury. He's such a key player for his club side and as well for the Super Eagles. So great to see Ahmed Musa back. He had a run out in that game. It was a game they eventually won 4-0 against Aba FC out there in the Saudi Premier League. So Musa came on late in the second half. You can see the delight in his face when he came on in that game. And as well, he was delighted, putting up on his social media page how happy he was to finally come back after such a lengthy injury layoff. So good to see Ahmed Musa back in action. So we hope he stays fit as the international break is around the corner. So from Ahmed Musa, guys, we move to Belgium, where one man continued his fine scoring run of form, and I'm talking about David Okereke. He was also on the score sheet for Club Brugge in Belgium in a Belgium First Division game. He came off the bench actually. It was a game they won 3-0. He came off the bench, he scored the third goal, and it was a fantastic performance from Okereke, who now scored in back-to-back games for his club side, consecutive games, being on the score sheet, taking his tally to 7 goals in 12 games in the league so far for the season. His compatriot Emmanuel Dennis wasn't in the match they scored for the day, but kudos to David Okereke, who continues to repay the faith his manager keeps in him. I'm talking about Philippe Clement. Now from David Okereke, guys, England will be our final destination for today. So guys, stick around. So let's talk about this man, Sammy Amiobi. You remember him, right? Or you remember his elder brother, Shola Amiobi? Well, let's stick with Sammy. This man was on the score sheet as well for his club side. He plays in the English Championship, and I'm talking about Nottingham Forest. They were up against Luton Town away from home, and Shola Amiobi, Sammy Amiobi, he was on the score sheet. He got the second goal in that game, but he couldn't add to his tally as he was eventually subbed off late in the second half in that game. So good to see Sammy Amiobi in the score sheet right there in the English Championship. So guys, from Sammy Amiobi, we'll move on to Reading FC, where Ove Ejaira was also in action for his club side out there in the Championship. It was a fantastic game for Ove Ejaira, who registered an assist in that game. They were up against Millwall in the Championship, so Ejaira got the assist for the second goal. It was a game they won by 2 goals. So credit to Ove Ejaira getting an assist in that game, who is on loan from Liverpool. They're talking about the European champions. So from Ejaira, still in the Championship, now we'll move on to Tosin Adarabioyo, who was on the score sheet for a defender. He was on the score sheet for Blackburn Rovers. Remember, he's on loan from Manchester City. They were up against Sheffield Wednesday in the Championship. It was a crazy game actually. They were in the lead on the 83rd minute in that game, but Adarabioyo stepped up, got the equalizer for his team in the 88th minute, and they eventually got the winner late on in that game. So they won that game. It was a comeback win for them actually. They won that game by 2-1, and it was a fantastic performance from Adarabioyo, who, I don't know if it's just me, who kind of looks like, Semi Ajayi. I don't know if it's just me, but credit to Tosin Adarabioyo for getting in the score sheet and having a fantastic performance. So guys, it's that time. You remember I told you in the beginning of the show, I'll be revealing to you a player whose father was the former vice chairman of Lobby Stars, who currently plays in the MPFL. Well, that player is Dominic Ayofa. Dominic Ayofa, he was in the receiving end of that defeat against Tosin Adarabioyo's Blackburn Rovers. Ayofa started in the defense for Sheffield Wednesday. He's a regular actually, but he started in the defense under new manager Gary Monk. But it was a sad ending for Ayofa, whose side got in the lead late in the game, but they later lost that game by 2-1. So Ayofa, yes, is the player I was talking about. His father was a former Nigerian international and the former vice chairman of Lobby Stars Football Club, who currently plies their trade in the MPFL. Is Dominic Ayofa Sr. Interesting fact about Ayofa, his father came out to say years ago that his son, Dominic Ayofa, will consider playing for the Super Eagles in his 23rd birthday. Well, Ayofa is 24 now. Is he waiting for that call-up? We don't know if Kenneth Roy is going to give him that call-up eventually. So guys, there you have it guys, the player roundup on Nigeria Footballers TV. And finally, our player of the week. I bet you want to know who the player of the week is going to be. Well, our player of the week on this edition of the Players Roundup on Nigeria Footballers is Daniel Akpeyi. It's a goalkeeper. It's very rare to see goalkeeper winning player of the week, but fantastic performance from Daniel Akpeyi right there in South Africa for his club side, Kaizer Chiefs. It was another heroic performance in a penalty shootout. He gave the same performance out there in the previous round against Cape Town City, but this time around he saved 2 spot kicks for his side, and eventually they won that game by 4-2. I'm talking about the quarter-final fixture against their fierce rivals, Orlando Pirates. So Akpeyi, a good one for him. He's beginning to win the fans over. He got a lot of congratulatory message on social media. I don't know if Akpeyi was on social media, but South Africans out there on social media were congratulating him. I think they now believed in him. So Akpeyi has done a fantastic job so far. It's not an easy job coming to replace fan favorite. I'm talking about Itumilan Kune, who's a fan favorite, the South African goalkeeper who's currently injured. But Akpeyi has done so well coming to instead to replace him. So guys, the player roundup show on Nigeria Footballers TV. Don't forget guys, you can join the conversation. Drop a comment on our YouTube channel or wherever you see this video. Share your thoughts on these players, which of these players you want to see donning the Super Eagles jersey. Drop a comment, and don't forget guys, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I remain Emmanuel Sebastian, and remember guys, attitude they say might be a little thing, but it plays a major role in whatever you do in life. So guys, stick around and I'll see you next time.